Welcome to Debt. I quickly began my journey doing what all great gamers do. I ignored the terms and conditions in order to start playing the game. I have no idea what I just agreed to, but it would take too long to read all that nonsense so they can get lost. I started off well, if I do say so myself. I killed the enemies with relative ease. Clearly these games aren't as difficult as people say they are. My cockiness however would be short-lived, as I was quickly dispatched by this gentleman, thus ending my hopes of an easy campaign. Not deterred by this unfortunate run of events, I quickly returned the favour, defeating the man who had slain me. Afterwards, I ran into Ganesho Ashura. At first I thought I was doing okay, until he killed me. Fortunately for me, it was mandatory, and thus I used that as an excuse to make myself feel better about the fact that he completely dominated me. Following my embarrassing defeat, I got a new arm, which was nice, a constant reminder of my failure, just what I needed. After using my stealth as a way to get through the enemies, I had a new leash of confidence, until this guy killed me because I clearly never learned. Deciding to cut out the middleman, I tried to sneak attack him this time in order to avoid the fight. Unfortunately it only took one of his lives, so I had to take the other one the hard way. That sucked. Afterwards, I decided stealth was for pussies and went all in, which caused me to die, but fortunately I had a resurrection stone, so I managed to revive myself and clear the enemies in the area. Proceeding with my new lessons, I actually used stealth to clear the enemies before taking on the general. I also finally learned to target enemies, because previously I kind of just swung and hoped for the best. I managed to make it through the general with relative ease, and carried on my journey to beat them all. This is where I encountered a giant snake, whom I decided was an arse and had to die. Unfortunately I could not kill the damn thing, so I settled for the next best thing and took out one of its eyes. With his eye taken, the snake decided to throw a temper tantrum and so I left. I'm not bothered to deal with divas. Pushing forward, I met a man with a horse, jealous of the fact that he had a noble steed and I didn't. I tried to kill him. Emphasis on tried. This guy dominated me for about an hour while I just stood there and took it, because I would always mess up at some point in the fight, which would lead to my death. After numerous attempts, I finally managed to kill him by going in close and blocking his attacks and proceeding to attack after his heavy attacks. An hour well spent. After my victory, I ran into a gentleman who seemed to hate rats, and I cleared out the area with enemies because I was now gone mad with power. I then proceeded to atone with the power of prayer. I grappled I had lost control to the bloodlust. Unfortunately, this had brought me to a new area, so I believe the video game gods had not forgiven me for my actions just yet. Fighting my way through the enemies, I managed to get my hands on a nifty item for my prosthetic arm, so I think I was doing quite well in this new area. After clearing out all these scrubs, I encountered some shinobi hunter who also fell to my blade. I truly felt as though this game was going to be relatively easy if things kept going this way. I even managed to defeat the discount Jason Momoa after about 10 tries, which is good for me. I thought I was actually getting better at the game. I even had a legendary battle with a shield guy which was more intense than any boss battle I ever had. I had no doubt that I could defeat any boss the game threw at me. Fortunately, the next boss was an old lady who was going to hand me my ass for the next 4 hours straight and have me run with my tail between my legs. This defeat was a major blow to my confidence. No matter what I did, the old lady would always get the upper hand and defeat me. This was not good. I would be here for all eternity just playing this game if I kept fighting her like this. In the majority of my previous fights, I could defeat my enemies by carefully dodging their attacks and waiting for an opening. But in the second round, she would break that by forcing me to run a triathlon. I needed a plan, a form of attack that was new, as my previous fighting style wasn't working in this second round. The video game gods have truly punished me now. My actions have cost me dearly. My plan of action became clear to me. I ran away and decided to fulfill my dream of becoming a bullfighter. Unfortunately, the video game gods were not done punishing me in real life too, because they had corrupted the video, and I had no video of me being a bullfighter. This was not fair. After my time as a bullfighter, I returned to avenge my countless deaths, confident that I could finally do it. My plan had failed. There was only one thing to do now: dance around her and hit her with the hopes of victory. Fortunately, my training was not a complete waste of time, as I finally managed to defeat my enemy, and thus I was finally free of her. After our triumph, Wolf turned to alcoholism to deal with the trauma of dying for 4 hours straight, and thus in the end she was the real winner. Oh well.